Welcome back to UnPerfect with ALEXI. This is the perfect place for unperfect people. And today I'm taking you on a journey through my history with acne, things that I've tried, things that I've loved, things that I didn't love, and just what that looks like for me. And then also answering some of your commonly asked questions about confidence with acne at the very end. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Before we get into it, please leave this podcast review, whether you're listening on Apple or Spotify, subscribe on YouTube. The only way I'm going to be able to take this podcast to the next level and reach more people is with your help. So I would appreciate that so much. Thank you for your time. Since you're already on here, just hit that 5-star button. And then if you're on Apple and you really love this podcast and you're implored to leave a review that's written out, I would absolutely love that. I love reading those for you guys. But I've been at this for over 2 years now. And I'm just ready to quit playing small. So if you guys would love to help with that, I would love you even more. Thank you. But I'm going to be completely honest with you guys before we get in. I'm kind of in my feels today. And I mean, for the last week. So to give you some context, at 12 years old, I started experimenting with boys and drinking and smoking pot. I mean, hell, in middle school, I even did ecstasy. And as I'm sober now and realizing just how much love I was looking for, how much acceptance, how much pain I was trying to mask, being completely sober over the last 4 days has been such a blessing and a gift because it's helped me start to feel like the things that have bubbled up to the surface. I'm like, whoa, is that what I've been masking? Is that what I've been running from? Is that what I've been hiding from? I was talking to my therapist today and I told her things that I've literally never told anybody in my life, but it felt so good to just word vomit them out. And then have her be like, listen, you were doing the best you could at the time with the knowledge and resources that you've had. She said that in so many words. That's the way I phrase it to make myself feel better. But it's wild just how much of myself I was running from for so many years. And, maybe my acne is a part of this. Like maybe the reason I break out is because I've just been trying to suppress and avoid and numb instead of truly healing and changing my lifestyle and just being okay with myself and forgiving myself and giving myself grace and not shaming myself or feeling remorse over things that I did when I was really young. So I've been at this for 15 years, this whole like running and numbing because I don't know any better. But I finally got to a point this year at 27 where I'm like, okay, I'm done with the numb game. I am ready to heal and I am ready to widen my impact and I'm ready to make more people feel seen, heard, and loved and make their stories feel less shameful. Like if I told you guys everything, you'd be like, holy fuck, Lex. There's a reason why I call my 12 to 14-year-old, maybe 15-year-old self, like the middle school years. There's a reason I call those the dark days. I told my therapist today, I put them in a box, like a treasure chest. There's no treasure in there. It's just coal. Let's be real. I locked it away and didn't want to talk about it. Didn't want to think about it. Like real pain, real numbing, real sadness. It's really, I just got off this therapy call. So it's so numb and fresh in my mind. I feel like I had to tell you guys. And what I decided today is that I am going to write a book. I'm going to write a book about the 25 lessons that I've learned in 25 years, even though I am 27, but maybe there will be a part 2 when I hit 50. But it's just, there's so much that I've gone through in my life that has been so hard for me and that kept me in this cage, for lack of a better word, in my mind because I felt so shameful. Like, why would I go through this? Why would I act like that? Why would I be like this? But I have to remember that I was just doing the best I could with the knowledge and resources that I had, and I need to forgive myself. And I think the true power lies in me being able to take the power back from that story and take ownership back and help other people through it because I know that I could have had it way worse than other people. I know that I had it worse than some people, but I know that I could have had it way worse. So that's what I need to remember. And I feel like with everything in my life, when I share it, if it helps one person feel more normal, feel more seen, feel more validated, feel more heard, it is worth it for me. I remember when I first started sharing my entire freaking life on social media and I had people closest to me posting on social media, these like subtweets for lack of a better word, being like, oh, why do you have to share your entire life on social media? Like you're just looking for attention. Maybe in regard, I am looking for attention, but if the attention comes at the cost of helping somebody else feel seen and validated in their life experience and their lived experience, then hell, it's worth it for me. It is 110% worth it. I will put myself out on Front Street and be like, listen, these are the lessons that I've had and this is what I've learned. And if it helps you, at least plant a seed. You can decide if you water it, then that's worth it for me. So more to come on that. I'm definitely going on a healing self-exploration journey and meeting that 12, 13, 14-year-old version of myself who just felt so lost and so numb and so just surviving. I'm very interested to see what I find out and what I learn, because I feel like I blocked a lot of that out in my life. I was talking to an old friend today, and I just... the memories that I have at that certain point, like I've just completely put them locked away in that chest. Like there's certain things that come out, but I'm ready to dive in and meet that version of myself with so much love and grace and just give her a hug and be like, you should see where we are now. It's beautiful and it's amazing. And while yes, we took a really hard road to get here, we've learned so much and we've done so many great things and we've helped so many people. So I'm excited. Okay, let's dive into the acne journey. I got acne at the typical time where a teenager would get acne. In middle school, in my dark days, I started breaking out, and naturally I'm like, I want to get rid of this because I felt like I was getting it worse than anybody else. And maybe that's because I lived in this like, woe was me mindset at that time. But I really did get these deep, painful cysts. So when this started happening, naturally, my mom's like, okay, let's go to a dermatologist and figure this out. I remember being on tetracycline a couple times and like my acne would clear up, but then it would come back. So then I got put on minocycline. My acne would clear up and then it would come back. And every antibiotic I used, my acne would clear up. And then as soon as I got off the antibiotic, it would come back. So then we went to a dermatologist and they put me on good old Accutane, this miracle drug that's supposed to help clear your acne because it shrinks your oil glands, them dry up. So that's why people on Accutane get really dry lips, they get dry scalp, their eyes start to dry out sometimes. But there are really bad side effects to this drug. So I took it the first time and my skin, I felt like it was pretty clear, but then it came back. So they recommended a second time. And the second time I was on Accutane, that is where poop hit the fan for me. And this was all in middle school. As I prefaced in the beginning of this podcast, I was in a very dark place. And the second time I was on Accutane, I remember me and my mom had gotten in a fight, got explosive. And I just remember feeling like, why am I here anymore? And I want to preface with this. I have never had thoughts of like taking my own life or doing anything to harm myself. Actually, I'm kind of a pussy, if I'm being honest with you. Like the only fights I ever got in was with my sister. If I ever found out someone wanted to fight me, I was like, okay, I'm just going to back down because I don't want to break my nose, which I did riding my bike. Anyway, goes to say, like, I never had thoughts of harming myself whatsoever. But that one fight exacerbated whatever this drug was doing to me, because I went into my bathroom and I took this bottle of aspirin that was all expired. Like it was from the 80s. My mom is notorious for keeping things way too long. But I took this bottle of aspirin and I took as many pills as I could. And I remember going to bed and feeling very light and like, okay, whatever. And I remember seeing this light and just feeling like, okay. And then my mom, something must have came over her because she was like, hey, I want to apologize for whatever. And I was just kind of in this daze. Like I didn't tell her what I did. I didn't tell her anything. I just remember being like, it's done. God pulled me through that because I woke up the next day with the worst puking bile I've ever had in my life. I literally was laying on the couch in my living room and I could not even get up. I was so sick to my stomach. And I didn't tell her what was going on at the time. I don't even think my sister knew, but I was vomiting all day, this green bile. And it was my head was pounding. It hurt so incredibly bad. And I just remember being like, okay, well, I'll never do that again. But I truly feel like that was my first interaction with God, where he was like, no, you're not going. You have a greater purpose. You have something better to do in your life. But After that, I stopped taking Accutane. I did not finish my second round because I was like, okay, that exacerbated an issue way further than it should have been. It was insane to me. And I've never thought about doing anything like that ever again. But that's my truth. That is what happened while I was on Accutane. I mean, my acne was so weird because it would come in waves. It would come and go. I'm also one of those people who's not the best at taking medication. So for some reason, I was able to take all of my pills beforehand until they ran out. But then after that, I'm like, you know what? I feel like these don't really do great for my body. So I tried to really steer clear away from them. Like even birth control, that's not something I've ever really been on for a long period of time, even though all of my friends were on them, because I just felt there was something weird about having your cycle like not be there, like doesn't have any periods. I'm like, that can't be natural. That can't be normal. And then I would just hear all these horror stories about it. So I was like, I don't want to even go there. I'll just let my body shed its lining. Fast forward to high school. I had acne, but it wasn't, again, it would come in waves. It would come and go. I would get cysts, like big, massive cysts, one at a time, maybe two, and then like some bumps and some redness. But when I look back at pictures from myself, I just got really good at covering it. It was just something that I lived with. I just put concealer on, makeup on. I remember I would not be caught dead without it because I didn't want people to know that I had acne, even though they could clearly see it. It just felt really embarrassing, but I don't remember myself ever being like, this is debilitating, because it's just something that at that point I had lived with for 5-6 years at that point. It was just something that happens. And everybody told me, you'll grow out of it. That was the biggest freaking lie that I've ever heard in my entire life. If anything, it got worse as I got older. You know, I just kind of assumed that it was my hormones and whatever, and they'll regulate because I'm an adolescent, hormonal teenage girl, and my face is breaking out and going bonkers. My senior year of high school, I really didn't have like terrible acne. I don't know why. I think senior year I was like thriving the most I had. Like I think I peaked my senior year in that way. But from 18 to 21, my acne came back with a vengeance. I remember going to group environments with my friends and being like, am I literally the only person here that has acne? I didn't understand like why I was the chosen one to have acne. But I also was like, I don't want to be on these pharmaceutical pills. That's just something intuitively in me. Like I'm not a pill person. I think that they do have their purpose and their cause for people. And I think some people they've worked wonders for. But for me, in my body, we are all different. Okay. So if you're going to listen to this and get triggered, just know that we are different humans with different lenses and different views on the world. And for me, the pharmaceutical route, there's nothing that I want to be on that somebody profits off me being sick, you know? And nothing had worked at this point. At this rate, I would just go get these injections and, use whatever over-the-counter face wash I could find. Like I truly did not have a great skincare regimen, but whatever. I didn't know very much at that rate. And don't listen to anything that society or the media tells you about who you are with acne, because acne is just a symptom to an internal issue. Everybody has their insecurities. People are insecure about their acne. They're insecure about their psoriasis. They're insecure about their eczema. They're insecure about their weight. They're insecure about their tooth. They're insecure about the way they talk or the way they say words. Like everybody has insecurities. Do not let people project that bullshit onto you that you are less worthy because you have acne. Like fuck that. Acne is a symptom to an internal cause. Acne goes in waves. Acne goes away. It can. It's not something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. That's why I'm such a big proponent on people finding somebody who doesn't see them for their acne. The right person for you is not going to see your acne figuratively. Not literally, figuratively. They will see your acne, but it's not going to be a big deal to them. I met my husband when I was breaking out. I had zits. I would cover them. Like it was just a part of my life at this point. It was kind of like oh well. Like it's just there. It just is what it is. And that's what it was. And I think when you go into dating and relationships in a way where you're like, acne is just a part of my life, rather than like, oh my God, it's so debilitating, don't look at me, and making a big deal about it, I think it makes a huge difference. So just know that it is possible to find the love of your life, a soulmate, while you have acne. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You are not less worthy or less beautiful because you have blemishes, okay? I remember going up to my wedding day, I had a cyst come out. It was somewhere on my face. I don't remember exactly where. That'd be very mentally exhausting to try to keep track of all of those. I remember going into the dermatologist and being like, hey, can I get a Kenalog shot in my acne because I'm getting married? And they're like, oh, that sucks. We should put you on Accutane. And I'm like, no, I don't. I just want this injection and I want to go be on my way. Got married, got pregnant. When I had my first son, it was amazing. I had no acne. My skin was clear. It was glowing. It was radiant. I'm like, I'm cured. This is so great. After he was born, my skin went fucking nuts. I mean, think about it. Your hormones are going insane with childbirth. Like the ups and downs, the roller coasters, giving birth, pushing a human out of your body. It's just, your body is like, there's so many changes with it. So I went to a dermatologist and I was like, okay, I want to try to figure my acne out because I'm kind of done living with it. Like I thought I would grow out of this like everybody told me, and I'm not. So the dermatologist that I saw, she tested me for PCOS, and the test that she did evidently wasn't thorough enough because she was like, no, you don't have it, but we should put you on Accutane. And I'm like, I don't want to go on freaking Accutane. I don't want to do that. And they're like, well, I don't know what else to tell you. Here's a face cream. Here's a no. And when I had my second son, my skin did not really clear up, which was weird because my first son, I was like, wow, this is amazing, beautiful, smart, kind, and loving. Thank you, self. And then second son, there was not a huge difference. I'm like, what is going on? So when I tell you the second I pushed my son out, I made an appointment with a naturopath this time. I was like, I need to get this figured out because I know intuitively deep down that acne is a symptom to a way deeper issue. So I make an appointment with a naturopath and I'm getting all of my levels checked. She does this thing called the Dutch test. It's like a pee urinalysis test where they go over your hormones at different times of the day. And from that, she did diagnose me with PCOS. Before this, though, I asked her, I was like, hey, can you just put me on birth control? Because I'm just like kind of sick of having acne. And she was like, no. Birth control, she's like, I do not recommend that. And I was like, why? She gave me this whole reasoning as to why she didn't. And I was like, can you come be on my podcast, Dr. Amber Content, talk about why birth control is not something that she recommends. I highly recommend you listen to it because birth control is not all it's cracked up to be. And honestly, after hearing everything about birth control and how we truly, truly, truly did not get informed consent and so many women were pushed on birth control from a young age, it's insane. So instead, my naturopath gave me a Dutch test, which is like a pee urinalysis test where you could see what your hormones are doing or your levels are doing throughout the day. So we get that back. She says, yeah, I think you have PCOS because of the cystic acne and you have unwanted hair growth on your neck. I could literally grow more hair than a man. She put me on Spironolactone, which I feel like everybody is on these days. It's the lesser evil, in my opinion, my uneducated, humble from experience opinion, of all of the other acne drugs you could be on. And it did help clear up my skin. It did. But I started feeling really anxious, like catastrophizing everything. And, you know, a part of me is not sure if that's from childbirth and just having heightened anxiety in general. But when I was on it, I got really anxious about heights and weird things like escalators. I remember being in New York, I was at Hudson Yards and they had these really fucking long excavators. I remember being on the excavator and I look back and I can't see the ground anymore. And so I just clinch, white knuckle the rails of this escalator. Escalator. I'm looking down and I'm just like, when we had to go back down, I was like, I'm not fucking going down that excavator. Why do I keep saying excavator? Excavator. What? Escalator. Oh my God. Whoa. Hello. It's not my butt. I know some people like that. I took one step, looked over the edge. I'm like, I can't see the ground. I'm not getting on that. So what do I do instead? I get in this elevator that essentially goes down like that, but it has a glass bottom. So everyone I was with was like, this is more scary than the escalator. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not going on it. Like, I will literally call an Uber and have them meet me around. I'm not going on this damn escalator. I don't know what it was, but during that time, I just had a heightened fear of heights and just dying in general. It was so weird. So I stopped taking spironolactone and I did start feeling more like myself. But around that same time, my good friend McKaylee, she got her medical esthetician license, and then she opened her own studio called Glowco Studio, and she found this company called Face Reality. And so she was a Face Reality acne expert. She did the peels on me monthly, had the home care. My skin cleared up fabulously. And I didn't have to take any medications. I didn't have to take any drugs. My skin looked better than it had in years, like than I could ever remember my skin looking. I was like, you know what? My skin is clear. I'm going to take it from here. My skin's clear now. Like, we're healed. So I took matters into my own hands, and I just started listening to everybody on the internet about different ways that you could do skin cycling, all of these other things. McKaylee had warned me about this a million times, but I'm one of those people who has to crash and burn before you learn. I had one of those one-time disposable dermaplane razors that I did not use one time. I used multiple times, and I did not clean it as well as I should. My skin was clear, and I had exfoliated with something because I was doing the skin cycling thing, and my skin looked really good. But that dermaplane razor, I'm pretty sure gave me some type of infection on my face, because that's when I posted that video about my skin being the worst that it's ever had in its life, and I'm spiraling. But I know if it helps one person, then it's worth it, and I'll share about it, because my skin has never looked worse after that. And it just felt so discouraging, because I got to a place where my skin was great. Retrospect, I probably should not have stopped it, but I mean, I think everything happens for a reason. You're listening to this podcast because you probably found me on TikTok or followed my journey, or listening to this acne podcast because I even have something to say about it. You know, I think it's a very lonely and isolating situation to have acne. After that video went viral, I had so many different companies and different brands and different methods and methodologies reaching out to me and being like, this is the only thing that's going to help you. This is the best thing that's going to work. It was so nice to have all these different people reach out and truly want to help me. But what I realized in the back of my head at that time was, you know what? This is an internal issue. There's a deeper cause to why I continue to break out. And again, I didn't want to go on the Accutane. I didn't want to take the antibiotics. I didn't want to do any of that type of stuff because I've done it all before and nothing helped. I really took it as an opportunity to start healing my gut, because a little bit of context, in 2018, 19, 2020, I started learning about the gut-brain connection and how your gut is a powerhouse in your body. It affects your immune system. It affects your autoimmune disease. It feeds cancer. It affects your mental health. It affects diabetes. It affects literally everything. I was like, you know what? I think this is a sign that I need to start focusing on my gut health. And that's what I did. And I took that time to start focusing on my gut health and eating better and working on my stress levels. And what was really cool is the Dutch test company reached out to me themselves, not through my naturopath, and they had me do a Dutch test, and it showed that I have extreme levels of cortisol. And if you don't know what cortisol is, it is a stress hormone that your body releases when you are stressed out. And I had extreme levels of that. Like, I had cortisone reserves. And if you guys don't know, this is how stress affects acne. So when you are stressed out, your body releases the stress hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is made in your adrenal glands. So when you are really stressed out, your body essentially is like, hey, we're in fight or flight. There's a bear chasing us right now, so we don't have time to process things the way that we should. So we're going to prioritize just surviving instead of digesting things correctly and having these normal processes. So instead of my body detoxing through my poop, pee, or my sweat, it's starting to push out my skin, because that is the easiest way for my body to detox. That's the quickest mode of detoxification. That's why stress is so important to be managed. And I know people are like, just don't be stressed, but follow me on social media and you will see all of the different things I'm doing to de-stress my life, because I just got another test, a hair analysis test, that said, hey, you're fucking stressed. Your adrenal glands are literally at burnt out level. I've never seen them this low. Yeah. Anyway, backtrack. Face Reality reached out to me in May of 2023, and they were like, hey, we want to kind of do this experiment where you use Face Reality exclusively for 6 months and see how it affects your skin. I'm like, duh, I've already used this company. I already know that they'll help my skin. My skin looked amazing while I was using Face Reality before. How could I say no to this? I can already sing the brand's praises, and they want to work with me and make it so much easier to do so. It's a hell yes from me. So if you're ever looking at my content and you're like, oh, does she actually really like Face Reality? Yes, I actually love Face Reality because they've helped save my skin twice. And now a word from our sponsors. It's official. My skin is finally the clearest it's been since I can remember. It took me a few months to get here, but I'm proud of me for staying consistent in my home and skincare routine, seeing my SD bestie McKinley monthly for acne peels, and remembering to take my Clear Skin Balance and Restore supplements from Face Reality Skincare. It's been a dream to partner with them over the last 6 months to finally get my acne under control. If you have acne and are ready for clear skin, give Face Reality Skincare a try. The link to find an acne expert near you is in the description below. But honestly, I love the brand so much. Now that my 6 months are up with Face Reality, I'm still going to continue using the products, but I'm also going to focus more on healing my gut and having a healthier lifestyle. As I said in the beginning of this podcast, I quit drinking, I quit using THC, and I'm really trying to get better lifestyle choices for myself and learn how to manage my stress better. I got an HTMA hair test recently from Victoria Wellness, which told me that my body is in extreme fight or flight. My nervous system is completely out of whack. My adrenal glands are at burnt out level, and that I have high levels of arsenic. That's weird. So if you guys want to follow that journey, follow me on social media and join my email list if you want to get some more gut healthy swaps that I'm making to help improve my life in general. I am not certified. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not anything. I'm just sharing what has helped me. Like, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just genuinely trying to help. But also, if you guys want me to do a whole in-depth podcast on gut health, let me know. So now let's go into some Q&A about acne as per my Instagram audience. Question number 1. What was the number one thing that helped you with hyperpigmentation and acne scars? Microneedling. It has changed the game for my skin. I did my first session of this round last Thursday, and just look at my skin. Like, it's a lot more glowy. There's still texture and pigmentation, but it's going down. The collagen is coming back and it's healing, and I'm super excited. If you have not tried microneedling, it is a little bit pricey and expensive, but it's not one of those things that you have to keep doing over and over and over and over for the rest of your life in order for the results to stay. Like, you do a few sessions of it, let's say 1 to 6 sessions, depending on the severity of your acne, and it helps. Wow! It helps your skin overall. Aw, Kaylee said, thank you for being so real and relatable when it comes to acne. That's my goal. If I would have had somebody in my life when I was dealing with the worst acne I've ever had, who could help me stay positive and think clearly and kindly about myself, it would have helped me so much. Because when my face broke out as bad as it did after that viral video, like, I was literally spiraling. I did not want my husband to leave the house. I did not want anybody to go anywhere. I wanted everyone to be with me because I just felt so alone in it. And I knew that I had my, core people that I trusted, but I didn't want to go be seen like that. I mean, it is hard, especially when you put yourself out there too. Like, I had people calling me Freddy Krueger and Pizza Face, and like, I had been bullied about acne before, which I didn't really touch on in the podcast because I don't want it to be about the bullies. I want it to be about being positive and owning yourself in your skin for who you are right now. Acne fucking sucks. Nobody wants to have acne. It's a part of life for a lot of people. It's a part of life for you and me. And if we let it own our life and ruin our life, then what kind of life do we even have? That's the goal here, is just that I can be as vulnerable and transparent and authentic as possible when it comes to this. Steph asked, struggling with acne, what are some things that helped you mentally get through? Well, number 1, it's realizing that your skin does not define your worth. I say this all the time, but just think about it like this. Your skin is a massive organ. It's the biggest organ that you have in your body. It covers like every square inch of your body, almost. Could you imagine if, let's say, your liver or your pancreas wasn't performing as well as it could, and then people started judging you based off the performance of your liver? Like, that, it just does not make sense. Acne is just something that people can see. Acne is an easy low blow for the bullies. Let's be real. That's the only thing they can see, and it's an easy projection for them to get off whatever negative feelings they're feeling about themselves onto you. So remember, anybody who makes fun of you for your acne or judges you for your acne, that says so much more about them than it does you. Your worth is not in your skin. Your worth is in who you are on the inside. That beautiful heart that you have. Also, surround yourself with people who just love and care for you as you are. A lot of times we put our worth in what other people think about us. And I think it's really easy as people who have acne to always be wondering like, oh, are people judging me because I have acne? But at the end of the day, acne only affects you. You're the only person that should be affected by acne. You having acne gives no other person physical pain or harm. And if it does, they have serious problems and they need to seek help immediately. But just remember that this is an experience that you have that only affects you. And yes, it can feel very lonely and isolating at times, but also remember you are not the only person who has it. Nearly 90% of the population has dealt with acne at some point in their life. So it's not something that is not normal. Like, it's a very common occurrence for people. And the fact that people still talk shit on people who have acne, like, I just don't get it. Because they probably had acne before, but you know what? People probably looked down at them and said, oh, you look nasty or disgusting or whatever with acne. So you know what they're doing? They're projecting it onto you. Don't take it. You stand up for yourself. Your skin has worked hard for you. Your skin is resilient. Those acne scars show that you are the type of person who perseveres and you pull through. Your skin has served you in the best way it can. And you earned those scars, okay? Felicia said, thinking about my skin 24/7, how do I stop going crazy? Number 1, quit looking in the mirror. Honestly, literally put mittens on your hands. Like, act like you have chicken pox, dude. Don't touch it. Don't look at it. Try your best to do as many things as you can to not think about it. Even if that means putting makeup on your face, like, do whatever you can to get to a place where you're like, okay, I feel confident enough, or I'm not thinking about it, or find a different hobby. Find something you can do to distract yourself that is not focused on acne. Because when you think about acne to the point where you're like obsessing and spiraling over it, it's just going to make you feel more anxious and more stressed out, and it's not going to help your acne at all. Maybe go for a walk. That always helps me. Mary asked, are you on Spironolactone 2? Considering going on and scared. I would say trust your gut on that one. Spironolactone is the lesser of the evils in my humble opinion, but I think you need to do your own research. I think you need to talk to your doctor, ask what the side effects are, get that insert label and read it through and through. Ask other people in the community what their experience with spironolactone is, but more importantly, listen to your gut. What is your gut telling you? If your gut's saying, you know what, let's try this, then great, go for it. But if your gut's like, I really feel weird about this, then don't fucking do it. Focus on healing the root, because what spironolactone is it helps with the hormonal part of acne. But you can also balance your hormones without drugs. Maria said, how do you not obsessed over your skin? I'm always hyper-focused on my skin 24/7. It comes with the territory because your skin is something that you can see, that everybody can see. So it's like, oh, everybody's looking at me. But just know, people don't see your acne as much as you see it. When you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my gosh, there's bumps and it's red and there's pores and it just looks so gross and disgusting. People don't see you like that. You're the only person that looks at yourself as much as you do. Nobody else is looking at you that much. So when they do see you in whatever interaction or encounter they have with you, your acne, yeah, they may notice it, but they're not going to sit there and just hyper focus on it, because that would, first of all, be rude and inappropriate. And second of all, it's not even a percentage of who you are. Let's be real, because your acne could be gone. Acne is something that's fleeting. That's why I always tell people, like, do not cancel your plans when you have a breakout, because your memories that you make are going to last forever. Your acne will not. So just remember that. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some time to just relax. But honestly, if you are kind of in a mental spiral about your acne and you're obsessing over it, go do something new. Do something that's going to be good for your health. Do something that's going to be good for your acne. And that doesn't mean just go wash your face all the time. Don't even look in the mirror. Do something outside. Last question. Did you purge when you started implementing the castor oil pack? No, I did not. All right, guys, that is all for today. Next week, we are doing unpopular opinions, and I cannot wait for this. I polled my audience on Instagram, and I'll do it again this week. So make sure you follow me so you don't miss that if you want to insert your unpopular opinion. But I'm so excited for the responses I already got. Like, some of them I'm like, ooh, you guys are going to be maybe triggered, maybe plant a seed. I don't know, but they are some good unpopular opinions. So make sure to leave this podcast 5 stars. Leave a review if you're on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. I literally would not do this without you. Mwah! Kisses, hugs, toodaloo, bye-bye.